Welcome all to Off the Cuff, and today I'm a little nervous but thrilled to have a person who's an inspiration. She's ambitious, unstoppable, and a lifelong learner, I'll say. It's my pleasure to welcome Vinita Gupta on Off the Cuff. Vinita, welcome to Off the Cuff.
Thank you so much, Namrata. And I want to wish greetings to all the listeners. Hope you enjoy this segment.
I'm sure they will. She is an author. Her book, Woman Indeed, Road to IPO, Bridge Tables and Beyond, is now available everywhere, I think. She is a Silicon Valley entrepreneur and the first Indian American woman to take her company public. She has won several national titles in the game of bridge. इन्होंने तो वो कहते हैं ना शर्मा जी के बेटे को बहुत पीछे छोड़ दिया है. So she is, I'll say, an overachiever and still going on. So, Vinitha, tell me about your memoir, which just came out. What motivated you to make your life public, I'll say, in certain ways?
Well, my life has always been public
Okay.
because I speak as a CEO of a company. I used to speak and I am very open in general.
Okay.
So I always express my real thoughts. And the reason I wrote the memoir was I feel that stories of Silicon Valley need to be told. Silicon Valley, even though we have some famous people's stories out, people who really make Silicon Valley tick and give culture to Silicon Valley, their stories are not as much out. And it's not about one story or my story. Many such stories need to be told so that people get a flavor how, despite the risks, despite the failures, people keep starting companies, not just keep starting companies, keep working for startups. Can you even, their risks are even higher
Yes.
because they are not in control of the situation. They take sub-market value salaries, very little benefits compared to established companies, yet they prefer to work for startups.
Very true.
One failure after another, they still would never go back to established companies because it doesn't make them tick.
Yes.
Too much red tape, and you don't see the influence of you designed a product, software product or hardware product. You don't see how it impacts the company. So the motivation when you see your impact on the company is far higher, and you apply yourself.
Okay. I know you just nailed it with the answer, because I see so many, and especially now with AI coming in, I think everybody is getting into startups because they think, okay, this is the time to innovate, or maybe it's just that feeling of creating something of their own, which they can call their baby in ways. But it's difficult, like you're saying. It is not an easy path in any which way.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now, I read your book. It was a page turner, listeners, I have to say. I read it in 2 days, and I was just hooked onto her story. And starting with your childhood, what I read, your mom supported you a lot when you were growing. And she was like, you need to study first and get a job rather than just, looking for a husband. And then, you also felt pressure, sibling pressure while growing, because your sister was there doing really well, and now your daughters are doing so wonderful. So tell me how your childhood shaped you as a woman, or as a person, or as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, most of stories told by women
Yes.
who have been successful, especially in males' professions, they always give credit to their father. I felt my mother was the force behind us.
Yes.
She was highly educated, but white housewife. She never worked outside the house, and we were three daughters born to her, so she felt that she wants to see her daughters not just be stay home housewives and mothers, but do something with their lives. So it was the expectations that shaped me. When parents expect more from you, you tend to push yourself in that direction. We are all insecure at that in our childhood.
Yes, yes.
We want to please our parents. So the effort started in that form. Then it was like, oh, who will take care of my parents in their old age, because we are daughters. And you have to remember, I'm talking of this story 60 years back, when people were women in India or girls in India were far from being an asset. So I felt I have to do whatever it takes to do whatever I could. I did not consider myself man or a woman. I just thought if somebody else can do it, so can I. You know, it didn't matter girl or boy, American or immigrant.
Okay.
But it is a story of immigrant, it is a story of woman, my story, and it is what takes to for the Silicon Valley to tick. The culture, the vibe, the integrity of the valley is just phenomenal. And I think people do not have enough idea about these things, hearing from people who have lived through that life.
Wonderful again. I think you talked about the gender of it, like, you know, it doesn't matter, girl or a boy. But I think that seed is laid when you're growing up as a young girl, you know.
Super. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. That's why I never thought there was anything that I could not
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
How did I start thinking that? You are right. My childhood.
Absolutely. Yeah. So kudos to your mom, I'll say, you know, for being a path breaker at her own time, and she was a graduate herself at that time, which is a huge thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, she was very forward looking for her
Yes.
time.
Absolutely.
And my parents, both my parents who were educated, they did not save money for my dowry.
Yes.
I mean, leave alone getting married, finding a husband. They were investing in me to send me to engineering college in India, which was expensive for them, even for them, and then sending me to UCLA to come here as a single woman.
Yes.
That took not just expectations but trust in me. They trusted that I could survive by myself as a single woman in mid 70s in another country that they had never been to, nor had I. And in those days, awareness of what America is about was not that high.
Yeah, not that much, you know. Yeah, internet we need, you know. So
Yes.
definitely, and to all the parents, you know, it's very important as to what signals you give to your children, be it in India, be it here or anywhere in the world, and especially your daughters, I'll say. And now coming to the first Indian American woman to get your company, you know, take it IPO. Can you tell me any learnings that you, you know, had in that process? It must be exhilarating and, you know, a lot more stuff, I'll say so.
Yeah, you know, my life, I just learned so much, and learning was what invigorated me.
Yeah.
That is what excited me. That is what put the energy in every step I took forward. And I kept putting one foot in front of the other, and that is my journey. So the decisions I made along the way were what made possible to take my company public. For example, we haven't talked about my company yet, but I started the company with a partner. So we were two partners.
Yes.
And we were sitting at the table and deciding what product are we going to make. And we chose a less sophisticated product in our discussion just because it was going to cost less
Yes.
money. So we did the right thing for the wrong reason. I say that because that product fitted right into internet market, and a few years after I started, internet boom came. Just like
Yes.
now there is AI boom, in my era there was internet boom, and because of that my product was selling like hotcakes, and we put it out without getting any venture money. So the company really belonged to us. Unfortunately, my partner left 6 months later, so that was a bummer. But life, I decided to keep moving forward rather than for the company. And this is what I say, these were what product to choose, not to fold the company when the partner leaves. These were the steps which were very difficult, barring the fact that I left a secure job to start a company.
Yes.
So these are the early on steps that I had to face, and I took the decisions that I made, which made possible to take the company public. And it was a huge success, both mentally, it boosted my confidence, it boosted the
Absolutely.
confidence how people looked at me,
Very true.
so that feeds on itself.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And if I'm not wrong, the company is called Digital Link.
Digital Link Corporation,
Yes.
and we made boxes that fitted in the internet. Businesses used to buy us,
Yes.
our boxes. Big phone companies, Deutsche Telekom, AT&T, Bell Canada, British Telecom, they were
Yes.
our customers. So having brand name customers, all we had to do was not stub our toes
Okay.
in terms of product quality. So we focused on that, we delivered, and we just kept making small moves, small idea in a big market.
Very true, very true. So, listeners, her book, The Woman Indeed, as you can see, she is a woman indeed. She believes in action, and you can, see the resilience and the guts in her voice. So, this book is available on Amazon, and where else, Vinita?
This book is available in some bookstores. Barnes
Okay.
and Nobles carries it.
Okay.
Amazon carries it, and very soon in Silicon Valley, Kepler's books will carry it.
Wonderful.
So the book is there. It's available even in Walmart bookstore online. So I think the book is slowly making its way and you can find them on the bookshelves.
Absolutely. And I won't say it's for, budding entrepreneurs or people in tech. It's for everybody else. It's a human story. And I'm not in tech, I'm in media, but I couldn't just keep the book down when I was reading it. So I highly recommend it. And look into her website also.
Yes, the book is also available through my website, but to make it easy, I think you can even start getting it in the libraries, because Saratoga and Cupertino libraries in last 2 weeks, I had book talk there, and they will be keeping a few copies of the book in the library. So if you get down on yourself, I would say that is the time that you can read a few pages from this book.
Definitely. So, Vinita, again, coming back to your childhood, you came from humble backgrounds. You were not born with a silver spoon. The way you were brought up was okay. You need to utilize money the best possible way. Education was very important. So, and now you're such a successful, entrepreneur. I won't even say woman entrepreneur. So, what is your relationship with wealth at this moment, or while growing?
I think wealth mostly has been positive.
Okay.
Uh, I could never imagine we were two public companies in the same household. My late husband, his company went public first,
Yeah.
and then mine.
Mm.
So we had never seen that much money, because you do make a lot of tons of money if your company is able to go public. So we enjoyed travel, we indulged a little bit, who does not? But your ego can get too far ahead. So you have to control your ego. It happened to me. So I know that how money can ruin your head. And you'll hear a lot of entrepreneur stories in the valley. One specifically, it happened maybe 15 years back. The name of the company was Eagle Computers, and its founder CEO, he was taking a Ferrari for a test drive a day before his IPO, and the Ferrari slipped in the hill, and he died. So they may sound like, oh, what foolish. It's not foolish. It is what gets in your head, and you don't know exactly how to control yourself. And in this case, he probably didn't know how to drive Ferrari in hills. But there are many stories of this variety. Somebody going to jail because they started cooking the books because of the pressures of a public company. So these things are normal, but not very frequent. What my late husband and I worried about because of wealth was, how would our daughters,
Yes.
who we were bringing up, how would they be motivated and be able to experience the joy of making themselves successful through their efforts, not because we handed over the money to them. Fortunately, both of them, they are doing very well in their profession. Our older daughter, Anika, she at the age of 36 had 2 IPOs under her belt.
Wow.
As almost second in command in her company. Both companies, 2 different companies. So obviously this does not come without working hard, without applying yourself, without sacrificing yourself or your family life in order to build on that. And my younger daughter, bless her heart, she started her own entrepreneurial journey a year back. She's 33, older one is now 37. But this happened to her 2 years back when her second company went public. Wow. So we were very gratified to see our 2 daughters do apply themselves and do well despite of the wealth around them.
I think their role model is right there at their own house, but I can understand being a mother can be very challenging. Like you did say, it wasn't easy with everything going on, and both your husband and you were busy with but I'm sure the girls picked on the energy, picked on the vibe in the house, and obviously they have to be ready to take action when they have to.
Yeah, I wish I could give a lesson on raising children, but I have no idea.
No, nobody does. Like they say, they can never be a good parent, neither can there be a good child. We all are on our own, our journeys are different, yeah. Now coming to, you are a leader in Silicon Valley. You've given so many speeches, or you've been a speaker in so many panels. And I remember you saying, you said something about leadership earlier on in your career in India, and you said leadership is all about walking the tightrope, holding two things at once. And a lot of panelists didn't agree with you, and they were all male. So, could you now elaborate on what you said then?